What about you? Have you ever been tempted by a too-good-to-be-true investment opportunity? Have you ever had a friend approach you with what seemed like inside information? How did you handle it? What warning signs have you learned to watch out for? Leave a comment and let me know. Share your story, your questions, your thoughts. Because the more we talk about these experiences openly and honestly, the harder it becomes for scammers to find their next victims. And if my story helped you avoid making a similar mistake, then maybe losing that $6,000 was worth it after all. Stay smart out there. Your future self will thank you for it. What I got instead was wisdom. Expensive wisdom, but wisdom nonetheless. The kind of hard-earned knowledge that you can't get from books or articles or other people's advice. You have to live through it yourself. So here's what I want you to take away from my story. If someone approaches you with an amazing investment opportunity, especially in crypto, ask yourself some hard questions. Why are they telling you? If it's such a sure thing, why aren't they borrowing money to invest more themselves? What do they gain by bringing you in? How do you verify their claims independently? And most importantly, are you considering this opportunity because it makes logical sense or because you're desperate for a financial miracle? Desperation makes us stupid. It makes us ignore red flags, skip due diligence, and trust people we shouldn't trust. If you're in a desperate place financially, the last thing you should do is make a big, risky investment based on someone else's recommendation. I know that's hard to hear when you're struggling. I know the temptation to swing for the fences, to bet it all on one big opportunity that could solve all your problems at once. But that's exactly when you need to be most careful, most skeptical, most protective of whatever resources you have left. The crypto market will still be there when you're in a better financial position. Real opportunities don't disappear overnight, despite what scammers want you to believe. And if an opportunity is only available right now, this instant, with no time to research or think it over, that's not an opportunity. That's a trap. Your financial future is too important to gamble on someone else's get-rich-quick scheme. Build it slowly, carefully, with your own knowledge and hard work. It takes longer, but it's the only way that really works in the long run. Trust me on this one. I learned it the hard way, so you don't have to. I'm not anti-crypto, by the way. Bitcoin and blockchain technology have legitimate uses and real potential. But the space is also filled with predators who prey on people's dreams and desperation. And until you can tell the difference between legitimate opportunities and sophisticated scams, you're better off staying away entirely. My financial situation eventually improved, but it took time. Real time, real work, real patience. I got better at my freelance business, picked up new skills, made smart career moves. I started saving money the old-fashioned way, by spending less than I earned and putting the difference aside in boring, traditional investments. It's not as exciting as crypto millionaire success stories. There are no Lamborghinis or luxury vacations to post about on social media. There are no get-rich-quick moments or overnight transformations. But it's real, and it's sustainable, and it's mine. Looking back now, I'm almost grateful for that scam. Not because I enjoyed losing $6,000. That sucked beyond words, and I wouldn't wish it on anyone. But because it taught me lessons I desperately needed to learn. It forced me to grow up, financially speaking. It made me confront my own desperation and learn to manage it instead of letting it control my decisions. It also taught me about friendship, trust, and human nature. Marcus wasn't some stranger who cold called me or sent me spam emails. He was someone I'd known, someone I'd shared memories with, someone I trusted. And he still took advantage of me when I was at my most vulnerable. I never found out if Marcus was a willing participant in the scam or if he'd been scammed too and was just passing it along to make back his losses. I never got my money back. I never got closure or an apology or even an explanation of how it all worked. It took me almost a year to pay off those credit cards. A year of working double shifts, eating rice and beans, living like a monk. A year of constant stress and regret. Every time I bought groceries or paid rent, I thought about that $6,000 and what it could have done for my actual life instead of disappearing into some scammer's pocket. But you know what? I learned something valuable during that time. Something that goes way beyond Bitcoin or cryptocurrency or any investment strategy. I learned that there's no such thing as easy money. Real wealth, real financial success, it comes from hard work, smart decisions, consistent effort, and patience. Not from get-rich-quick schemes or insider tips or friends who suddenly strike it rich and want to share their secrets. I also learned to spot the warning signs that I'd completely ignored the first time around. The pressure to act fast. The promises of guaranteed returns. The requests for upfront money. The vague explanations and complicated jargon designed to confuse rather than clarify. The reluctance to provide specific details or verifiable information. Most importantly, I learned that my desperation had made me vulnerable. The scam worked not because it was particularly clever or sophisticated, but because I was in a place where I wanted to believe it so badly that I ignored obvious red flags. These days, when I see crypto success stories on social media, I'm immediately skeptical. When friends tell me about amazing investment opportunities, I ask hard questions. When someone promises easy money or guaranteed returns, I walk away. When anyone pressures me to act fast or miss out forever, I know it's probably a scam. $6,000. Gone. Not invested, not lost in legitimate trading, not even gambled away on some risky bet. Stolen. Deliberately, methodically, professionally stolen by someone who'd studied exactly what to say to make desperate people like me hand over everything they had. But here's the thing that really killed me. It wasn't just the money, devastating as that was. It was the realization of how stupid I'd been. How I'd ignored every warning sign because I'd wanted to believe so badly. How I'd let desperation override every bit of common sense I'd ever had. The credit card bills didn't care about my sob story. The interest kept accumulating at brutal rates. My credit score started tanking, which meant even higher interest rates on everything else. I had to take on extra freelance work just to make minimum payments, which meant even less sleep, more stress, more of the exact problems I'd been trying to solve in the first place. For months, I felt like a complete idiot. I couldn't tell anyone what had happened because I was too embarrassed, too ashamed. Here I was, supposedly a smart guy with a college degree, and I'd fallen for one of the oldest scams in the book. A friend asking for money with promises of easy returns. How could I have been so gullible? I spent countless hours online, reading about other people's crypto losses, Bitcoin investment failures, blockchain scams. Turns out, I wasn't alone. Not even close. There were thousands of stories just like mine. People who'd trusted friends, family members, supposed experts. People who'd lost their savings, their retirement funds, their kids' college money, their parents' nest eggs. The crypto market, for all its legitimate potential, had become a playground for scammers. And they were good at what they did. Really good. They understood psychology, desperation, the human need to believe in easy solutions to hard problems. They knew exactly which buttons to push and when to push them. Look, Jake, I gotta be straight with you. The trading group hit some major losses this month. Some unexpected market movements, some technical issues with the blockchain, some regulatory stuff I can't really get into. We're working on recovering the funds, but it's gonna take time. Maybe a lot of time. My heart dropped into my stomach. The room started spinning. What do you mean, losses? What happened to my money? Where is it? It's complicated, man. The crypto market crashed harder than anyone expected. Some bad trades, some technical glitches with the exchange, some issues with leverage positions. But don't worry, These guys are professionals. They've been through this before. They'll figure it out. I called him immediately, straight to voicemail. His cheerful recorded message felt like a slap in the face. Texted again. No response. Called again from a different number. Still voicemail. Called the next day. Phone was disconnected. That's when I knew. I'd been scammed. Completely, utterly, devastatingly scammed. By someone I trusted. Someone I'd known for years. Someone I'd called a friend. Someone who knew exactly how desperate I was and used that desperation against me. The next few days were a blur of panic, anger, and desperate research. I tried to track down the trading group Marcus had mentioned. Didn't exist. Googled their supposed company name. Nothing. The wallet address where I'd sent my Bitcoin? I finally figured out how to track it on the blockchain. It had been emptied within hours of my transaction, and the funds split across dozens of different wallets. The screenshots he'd been sending me? I reverse searched the images and found them on various crypto trading websites. Stock photos. Fake results. Elaborate theater designed to keep me believing while my money disappeared forever. By week 3, I was getting antsy. The credit card payments were coming due, and I needed to see some actual returns. Not screenshots, not promises, not theoretical gains. Real money back in my account that I could use to pay my bills. Hey Marcus, I need to pull out some of my investment. Just a couple thousand to cover some expenses. Nothing major, just need some cash flow. His response took 6 hours. When it came, it wasn't what I wanted to hear. Bad timing, bro, really bad timing. The market's in a correction phase right now. If you pull out now, you'll lock in losses instead of gains. Give it another week or two, and we'll be back to making serious money. Trust me on this. I've been through these cycles before. Another week turned into another month. The screenshots kept coming, but they started showing smaller gains. Then break-even positions. Then losses. Don't panic, Jake. This is totally normal crypto market behavior. Bitcoin goes through these cycles all the time. The smart money stays in during the dips. This is actually when the biggest fortunes are made. When everyone else is scared and selling, we're holding strong and accumulating more. But I was panicking. The credit card bills were piling up on my kitchen table like a paper mountain of financial doom. Interest was accumulating daily. I was getting calls from the credit card companies asking about late payments. My already terrible financial situation was becoming a complete and utter disaster. Marcus, I need my money back. Now. I can't wait anymore. That message sat unread for 2 days. 2 long, agonizing days where I checked my phone every 5 minutes, hoping for a response, hoping for good news, hoping for anything that would make this nightmare go away. When he finally responded, everything changed. The tone, the energy, the relationship, everything. I started planning what I'd do with my profits. Pay off the credit cards first, obviously. Then maybe put a down payment on a decent apartment. Buy some clothes that didn't come from thrift stores. Take my parents out to dinner somewhere nice for once. Maybe even start dating again. Hard to ask someone out when you can't afford to pay for coffee. For the first time in years, the future looked bright. I had hope again. Real hope, not just wishful thinking. Week 2, the updates kept coming like clockwork. Market's looking great, Jake. Your portfolio is absolutely crushing it. Screenshots of green numbers everywhere. Bitcoin price charts with arrows pointing up. Explanations of complex trading maneuvers that I pretended to understand, but really just made me feel like I was part of something sophisticated and professional. Marcus even started a group chat with some of his other investors. People I didn't know, but who all seemed to be having similar success. They'd share their wins, celebrate each other's gains, talk about the crypto market like they were seasoned professionals. It felt like being part of an exclusive club, but something was starting to feel off. Subtle things at first. When I asked specific questions about the trades, like which exchanges they were using, or what specific cryptocurrencies they were trading besides Bitcoin, Marcus's answers got vague. He'd give me general responses about proprietary strategies and competitive advantages, but never any concrete details. When I suggested maybe taking some profits, just to be safe, he'd explain why that would be a huge mistake. You gotta let your money work for you, man. This is just the beginning. If you pull out now, you'll miss the really big gains. The crypto market is about to explode, and we're positioned perfectly to ride that wave. By Friday, I'd made my decision. I applied for a personal loan online and got rejected immediately. My credit wasn't good enough. So I did what desperate people do. I maxed out 2 credit cards and took a cash advance on a third. $6,000 total. Money I definitely didn't have, borrowed against a future I hoped would exist, but had no guarantee of. The interest rates were brutal. The cash advance fees were even worse. But I told myself it didn't matter because I'd have everything paid back in a few weeks anyway. Plus interest. Plus enough left over to change my entire life. I'll never forget the moment I sent that Bitcoin to Marcus's wallet address. My hands were literally shaking as I copied and pasted the long string of numbers and letters. $6,000, my entire financial future, floating through cyberspace to someone I hadn't actually seen in person for 3 years. The confirmation screen felt both terrifying and exhilarating. There was no going back now. I was committed. I was finally doing something bold, something that could actually change my situation instead of just complaining about it. Congratulations, brother. Marcus texted back immediately. Welcome to the Crypto Millionaire Club. You're gonna thank me for this. In 6 months, you'll look back on this as the best decision you ever made. For the first week, everything seemed perfect. Better than perfect, actually. Marcus would send me screenshots of profits, updates on market movements, detailed explanations of his trading strategies. The numbers looked incredible. According to him, my investment was already up 15% in just 5 days. I was walking on air, man. Finally, I'd made a smart decision. Finally, I was going to be one of the success stories instead of the guy watching from the sidelines while everyone else got rich. Take out a loan, use credit cards, whatever it takes. The returns are so good, you'll pay everything back and still have tons left over. I'm talking about life-changing money here, Jake. The kind of money that solves all your problems forever. Every rational part of my brain was screaming, no. But the desperate part, the part that was tired of being broke, tired of feeling like a loser, tired of watching everyone else succeed while I struggled, that part was louder. Much louder. I spent the next 3 days doing what I convinced myself was research. I read everything I could find about Bitcoin investment strategies, watched hours of YouTube videos about crypto crashes and crypto rises, studied blockchain technology articles until my eyes burned. I convinced myself I was being thorough, being smart, being responsible. Really, I was just looking for reasons to justify what I'd already decided to do. The more I read, the more convinced I became that Marcus was right. Bitcoin had made people millionaires before. Real people, regular people, people who'd gotten in at the right time with the right strategy. The crypto market was volatile, sure, but that volatility created opportunities for people who knew what they were doing. And I had an inside track through Marcus and his mysterious trading group. I started fantasizing about my future crypto success. I'd pay off all my debts first, obviously. Then I'd move to a better apartment, maybe one of those nice places downtown with a view and a gym. I'd buy a reliable car that didn't sound like it was about to explode every time I started it. I'd take a real vacation, maybe somewhere tropical where I could just sit on a beach and not worry about money for once in my life. The fantasy was intoxicating, more addictive than any drug. Look, Jake, I've been where you are. Struggling, barely making ends meet, watching other people succeed while you're stuck in the same place. I know how that feels, man. It sucks, but I also know what it's like on the other side. Financial freedom isn't just about money. It's about options. It's about not having to worry about whether you can afford groceries this week. He was speaking directly to my soul. Everything he said resonated with my exact situation, my exact fears, my exact dreams. The group I'm working with, they've been crushing it in the Bitcoin market for months. We're talking about consistent gains, month after month. No gambling, no hoping for lucky breaks. This is systematic, calculated, professional crypto trading at the highest level. My heart started racing. This was it. This was my ticket out of this mess. This was my chance to finally turn my life around. What do I need to do? It's simple, man. You start with an investment. They recommend at least $5,000 to really see the gains that make it worthwhile. But don't worry, with the returns they're generating, you'll have that back in like 2 weeks. Then it's pure profit from there. $5,000. I didn't have $5,000. Hell, I barely had $500. My checking account was sitting at $347 and some change. But Marcus, he had an answer for that too. He seemed to have an answer for everything. Dude, this is where you gotta think like an entrepreneur. Sometimes you gotta spend money to make money. Think about it. If you knew for certain that you could turn $5,000 into $50,000 in a few months, what would you do? You'd find a way to get that $5,000, right? He made it sound so logical, so reasonable. And man, did he tell me more. Marcus went on this whole elaborate spiel about how he discovered this insider crypto trading system. How the crypto market was about to explode in ways people couldn't even imagine. How Bitcoin was going to hit heights that would make the previous peaks look like nothing. How regular people like us could finally get our piece of the pie before the big institutions swooped in and took everything. It was exactly what I needed to hear. Every word felt like it was crafted specifically for my situation. The thing is, he continued, you gotta move fast. This opportunity won't last forever. Once word gets out about what we're doing, everyone's gonna want in. The crypto millionaire mindset is all about timing, and right now, the timing is perfect. I should have hung up right there. Should have closed my laptop and gone to bed. Should have remembered that if something sounds too good to be true, it usually is. But you know what I did instead? I listened. Because when you're drowning in debt and someone throws you what looks like a life preserver, you grab it without thinking about whether it might actually be an anchor. Marcus explained his system over the course of 3 phone calls that week. It sounded complicated enough to be legitimate. Something about leveraging Bitcoin positions using advanced algorithms, timing the market cycles based on institutional trading patterns, using cutting-edge blockchain analytics that weren't available to regular retail investors. All these technical terms that went right over my head. But hey, that just meant he knew what he was talking about, right? You know what desperation does to your brain. It makes you ignore every red flag waving right in front of your face. It makes you believe in fairy tales. It makes you think that maybe, just maybe, there really is such a thing as easy money. And that night, scrolling through Marcus's feed, seeing post after post about his crypto success, his blockchain investments, his cryptocurrency journey to riches, I wanted to believe so bad it physically hurt. The comments on his posts made it worse. Other people asking how he did it, begging for tips, congratulating him on his success. And Marcus, playing the part perfectly, dropping hints about his system and his connections, but never giving away too much. Just enough to keep people interested. I hit him up immediately. My pride was already shot anyway, so what did I have to lose? Dude, what's with all the crypto posts? You really making bank? His response came back lightning fast. Too fast, if I'm being honest. Like he was sitting there waiting for people to message him. Jake, my man, I've been waiting for someone smart like you to reach out. This Bitcoin story is just the beginning, brother. I'm pulling in 5 figures a month now. Sometimes 6 on good months. 5 figures a month. Sometimes 6. Those words hit me like a drug. I could almost taste the financial freedom. No more counting pennies. No more stress about rent. No more avoiding phone calls from creditors. No more feeling like a complete failure while watching everyone else succeed around me. Tell me more. I typed back, my hands actually shaking as I hit send. My rent was 2 months behind. My landlord, this grumpy old dude named Frank, had been leaving increasingly aggressive notes on my door. Pay up or get out was his latest masterpiece. Real wordsmith, that Frank. My car was making this weird rattling noise that I couldn't afford to fix. My phone was about to get shut off. I was basically living in financial quicksand, sinking deeper every day. That's when I see it. My old college buddy Marcus posts this picture. Him standing next to a brand new Tesla Model S, keys dangling from his finger, biggest smile you've ever seen. The caption? Bitcoin investment paying off big time. Who's ready to join the crypto millionaire club? I stared at that post for like 10 minutes straight. Just staring. Because this didn't make any sense. Marcus? The same guy who used to borrow money from me for gas? The dude who lived off mac and cheese for 4 years and wore the same hoodie every single day? Now he's posting pictures with luxury cars that cost more than I'd made in the past 2 years combined? Something didn't add up, but man, I was desperate. And desperate people don't think straight. They see what they want to see. I kept scrolling through his recent posts. There were more pictures. Marcus at some fancy restaurant, holding up a steak that probably cost more than my grocery budget for a week. Marcus showing off a Rolex. Marcus standing in front of what looked like a penthouse apartment with floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking the city. Each picture hit me like a punch to the gut. Because while Marcus was apparently living it up as a crypto millionaire, I was over here rationing instant noodles and wondering if I should cancel my internet to save $30 a month. Man, where do I even start with this one? You know that feeling when you think you've got life figured out, and then boom, reality hits you like a freight train? Yeah, that was me last year. I'm Jake, and I'm about to tell you the most expensive lesson I've ever learned. We're talking about the kind of mistake that keeps you up at night, staring at the ceiling, wondering how you could have been so damn stupid. Actually, let me back up a bit. You need to understand where I was in life when this whole crypto nightmare began. Picture this broken version of myself, 20-something, living paycheck to paycheck, if you could even call what I was getting paychecks. I was doing freelance graphic design work, which sounds cool until you realize it means you're basically begging for scraps from small businesses who think a logo should cost $50. So picture this. I'm sitting in my cramped apartment, scrolling through social media like any other Tuesday night. Pizza boxes stacked on my coffee table, empty energy drink cans everywhere. The kind of scene that screams, my life is a mess in every possible way. Living the dream, right? Wrong. I was broke, man. Like, seriously broke. The kind of broke where you're counting coins to buy ramen noodles and praying your card doesn't get declined at the grocery store. You know, if I could go back, I wouldn't even ask for my money back. I'd just want that version of me, the one who is desperate, hungry, and ready to believe anything, to pause for 5 minutes. If you're watching this and you're in that place, just stop for a second. Breathe. Think. No one's coming to save you with a secret investment tip. If it sounds too good to be true, it always is. I learned that the hard way. And if this video helps even one person avoid what I went through, then maybe it was worth telling. Thanks for being here. Stay sharp, stay skeptical, and please don't trust the hype. I'd love to hear your story in the comments. Seriously, let's talk.